Welcome to your custom deep dive. Today we're looking at, well, the real estate inside your skull. Our mission is to extract the core insights from our sources on sovereign thought to really help you reclaim your mental landscape from digital algorithms. So, okay, let's unpack this. You can fence in physical farmland, right? But the text says our actual brains are undergoing cognitive enclosure.
Right, exactly. They are quite literally fencing off and monetizing your mind. And what's fascinating here is how they're building those fences by just, shifting the whole goal of media. Platforms aren't actually trying to inform you anymore.
Yeah, it's all about keeping you on there.
Exactly. They need to involve you. We all kind of know about the slot machine effect, right?
Right.
But the sources point out how variable rewards force us into this state of just endless grazing.
Right.
You're never fully satiated enough to put the phone down, but
But you're never fed anything of substance either.
exactly, nothing that actually helps you grow.
Which brings up a big pushback from the text. I mean, if algorithms are constantly curating this perfect diet of content to keep us grazing in this echo chamber of one, aren't we completely outsourcing our taste?
Oh, absolutely we are.
Because if our taste dictates who we are, doesn't our unique identity just sort of blur into a generic demographic profile? Are we even distinct individuals at that point?
Well, you're hitting on the core symptom of this whole erosion. When you outsource your curation, your cognitive horizon just shrinks dramatically.
Wow.
Yeah, and the text gives us a couple of really clear diagnostic signs for this. Like, have you ever experienced the feed ghost?
The feed ghost. Wait, what is that?
The phantom reflexive urge to just check your device right in the middle of a beautiful real-world moment.
Oh man, yeah, I am definitely guilty of that one.
Right, or reactive reflexes. That's where you suddenly have this prepackaged, really intense opinion on breaking news before you've actually processed the underlying facts.
Oh, because the algorithm already told you how to feel?
Precisely. And that constant reactivity absolutely destroys your capacity to do deep work.
So if our horizons are shrinking to just seconds, here's where it gets really interesting. How do we rebuild our borders? Because the text talks about radical curation to fight this.
Yeah, which basically means manual discovery, bypassing the recommendation engine completely.
Like actually going to a physical bookstore instead of just clicking related content on a screen.
Exactly. Because when you wander a bookstore, your curiosity decides your next thought, not some platform. The sources also heavily emphasize using a 24-hour buffer.
Right, where you deliberately wait a day before engaging with viral news to let the algorithmic heat die down so you can form your own perspective.
Yeah, rather than just adopting the crowds.
That makes total sense for news. But what about cognitive rewilding? Because the text pushes using boredom as a resource, and let me push back on that. Who actually has time to just sit around and be bored?
I mean, it sounds like a luxury, I know, but it's actually a biological necessity.
Really? A necessity.
Yeah, because when you remove that constant digital stimulation, your brain engages its default mode network. That's the system responsible for generating original thought, connecting disparate ideas, and just self-reflection.
So it's like letting your manicured algorithmic lawn grow back into an unpredictable forest.
That's a great way to put it. It also involves intentionally consuming hostile media once a week. Not to argue with it, but just to remind your brain that other coherent worldviews exist outside your custom bubble.
Okay, so it's really about reintroducing friction, like what the sources call analog anchoring. They suggest writing by hand instead of typing, which I thought was interesting because I type way faster, so handwriting just feels frustrating to me.
But that frustration is exactly the point. Handwriting engages entirely different neural pathways precisely because it creates physical friction.
Ah, well,
It physically slows down your output to match the natural speed of deep cognitive processing. And they recommend deep reading of pre-internet books for the exact same reason.
because they were structured for an era where attention was a natural resource, not a commodity to be harvested. So nobody is saying throw your smartphone in the ocean. This isn't Luddism.
Not at all.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's about constructing what Marcus Aurelius called the interior citadel.
The interior citadel. I like that.
Yeah, it's a fortified mental space that remains entirely inaccessible to external manipulation.
So what does this all mean? I guess in a world built on automated consensus, taking the time to think for yourself is basically a revolutionary act. You're taking back the deed to your own mind.
Which leaves you with an uncomfortable question.
Oh, lay it on me.
This raises an important question to explore on your own. If your digital habits have been heavily curated by algorithms for years, how can you determine if your deepest passions were genuinely chosen by you, or subtly assigned to you by a recommendation engine.